Well, good morning. This is my setup. Decided to take a day off of work and come down to the Green Swamp. It's one of the few management areas that's still open for deer hunting. You can come in here and go deer hunting and hog hunting. It's open till like the first Sunday in February. I think it's like February 2nd will be the last day. And then we'll be waiting for spring gobbler season. But somebody asked me, so this is my setup. This is like a hardwood island surrounded by swamp. It's real wet behind me. It's real wet. A lot of cypress dome through here. I got a good east wind, southeast wind, and I'm looking right into it. So I've got a little shooting lane here. It's probably about 80 yards. I'll show it to you here. It's right down through there. You can see I can see a pretty good long ways down there. You can see through. This is a pretty good setup. But anyway, I've got my Vortex Crossfire binoculars, my Blaze Orange. I've got my safety harness. I've got my API climbing stand. My Remington Model 7, chambered in 7mm 08 with a, this is a Tasco big game scope, good scope. Get a lot of deer with it. And down on the ground, that's my backpack. I strap my stand to my backpack, and then it's just a frame we made in the welding shop. And it's real comfortable. I can carry my tree stand comfortably with that backpack and carry my day pack and my rifle as far as I want. I walked down an access trail and saw this opening through the trees and kind of did a little investigation to see where I was, and came back here and it looked like a pretty good spot, so I set up. I was going to hunt in a spot that I discovered last weekend. A lot of good sign, a lot of crisscross trails, and it's a transition area where the habitat changes from one to another. And man, I wanted to hunt that this morning. I was going to go in and make a video and hunt that, but there was somebody else already parked there, and that's always disappointing when somebody's on your spot. But what do? You know, you just go on to the next spot. You don't want to ruin somebody else's hunt. You know, you want to avoid other hunters at all costs. But again, this is the Green Swamp management area, just north of Lakeland, Florida. And I guess this portion of it is Sumter County. Lake County is just a couple of miles that way, if even a mile. It's not far. And anyway, someone asked me, you know, I've hunted the Green Swamp. I hunt the Green Swamp, and I just never see anything. I never see any deer. Why can't I see more deer when I hunt in the Green Swamp? And my first question to him was, where else do you hunt? Because people get married to a spot, and they don't, you know, diverse their hunting. If you got the opportunity to go to Georgia or even other management areas, you should mix up your hunting a little bit and just don't hunt one spot. Because if all I hunted was the Green Swamp, it would be pretty lean times. But anyway, I think the reason you don't see as many deer in the Green Swamp are a couple of factors. And the first one is the most obvious, is that the deer numbers here are low. And they tend to group up. When the deer tend to group up, and when they do, you'll see fewer deer. You'll walk down some of these roads, and they're muddy roads. And there should be deer tracks in those roads, but there are not. The deer numbers are low when you compare it to other areas. When you compare it to a management area like Half Moon or Potts or Flying Eagle, I've hunted all of those. I'm seeing deer every time. I've hunted Jumper Creek. I go into Jumper Creek. I have no trouble seeing deer in Jumper Creek. Ocala National Forest, a little harder, but I see deer on a regular basis, right smack dab in the middle of the day. And I hunt here and I see a deer occasionally, but not too much. Not too much at all. Much less, you know, a legal buck. And people get discouraged. Hunters get discouraged, and I understand that. But the main reason is low deer numbers, but a healthy deer herd, okay? There are deer here. Another reason might be the hunting pressure that this place gets. I think a lot of blocks of swamp, blocks of areas get blown out easily. The deer feel pressured. And when they feel pressured, they go, there's a huge swath of swamp that runs through the center of this thing that no roads penetrate. And to the north is rich loam, and the hunting area here south of that. And I think a lot of the deer might go into those, impenetrable areas. You can't get in there to them, and the deer just stay there until the season is over and the pressure is off. And they can tell right away when the pressure's off, and they can tell right away when the pressure's on. But that's not to say that you can't come in here and kill one. I know people that have killed great deer here, but they're hunters, all right? They don't take no for an answer. And they hunt other places, and they mix up and make their hunting as diverse as possible, and I think that's a huge key to it. But I'll hunt this. The place gets blown out. Deer numbers are low, but it's where I live. It's my home. It's right here in the county that I live in, so I hunt it. And you ask anybody that hunts this, it would mean more to them to kill I don't want to say meager, but a respectable 8-point would be, anything 14 inches wide. If you killed an 8-point here 14 inches wide, man, you've done something. And if you went to other places, in Georgia or Alabama, they would say, oh, that's a small deer. I said, well, I would tell them, we'll go down there to the Green Swamp and kill one, and you get back to me. So that's what we're facing. So if you live in Central Florida and you hunt in the Green Swamp, my advice is, don't be married to it. Make your hunting as diverse as possible. Hunt other management areas. Hunt other portions. This is the Withlacoochee State Forest. Hunt the Ocala National Forest. Hunt Rock Springs, the Wakava River Basin. It's tough there too, but if you mix up your hunting, you will find that it will lead you to knowledge. It will lead you to success, and hunting other places will lead you to success too. So do that. Okay, so I'm gonna continue here until, I don't know, I'm probably gonna watch this little spot here to probably about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm gonna pack it in. It's supposed to get warm today, so we'll see. All right, love you guys. See you. Bye.